Hey guys, so we're gonna get rolling here. So as this lean thing progresses and grows, the Yellow Belts have stepped forward and decided to take an initiative in helping in the lean culture in the branch. So they're going to actually be up here doing the lean presentations for the next few weeks. And as discussed last week, Lisa mentioned the lean 2-second lean book. So our first facilitator of lean will be Jordan. And so Jordan, thanks for stepping up, and you're up.
Thanks for food, Jordan.
Sorry?
So it's going to be a pretty quick one. I apologize, there's not a whole lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm probably going to try to pass the time by talking really, really slowly. I hope everyone's okay with that. First up is we just created a new lean mailbox. So basically, if anyone wants to just submit questions, comments, concerns, feedback, if anyone has a Kaizen idea that they'd like to submit to us that they think might be a good idea for us to look at, shoot us an email. You're still encouraged to talk to your supervisor, but if they're not available, send it to us and we will definitely get back to you. One of the Yellow Belts will contact you back. So last week, Lisa sent everyone a copy of the first chapter of the 2-second lean book. Just a quick show of hands who had a chance to read it. Okay, it's not bad. Just put it into perspective of how light of reading it actually is. I timed myself reading it. I consider myself to be a fairly slow reader, and I like looking at all of the pictures. And I clocked in at less than 5 minutes. So, like I said, it's really light reading. Just some notes on the chapter. Paul Akers started FastCap in '97 with his wife. He was working out of his garage. The company manufactures various woodworking products. When Paul went to go apply for a business loan, the president of the bank wanted to just take a tour of his operations just to see how they're doing before approving it. When the president saw how they were working, he was so impressed that he basically said that he would loan Paul any amount of money for his business. A short while later, they were having some inventory problems, so Paul ended up hiring a manufacturing consultant. When the consultant took a look at everything, how they were doing things, he basically told FastCap that they had no idea what they were doing and that they needed to research lean. So for those of you who did get a chance to read the chapter, did you guys get any notes out of it, or did anything kind of stick out to you? Anything? It was a really, really short chapter, so there's not a whole lot of lean stuff to cover in there. But I think there was a couple of good points to take away. The first and foremost being, even if you think you are working extremely efficient, there's always room for improvement. It's one of the main tenets of lean, continuous improvement. So you got Paul, who's an extremely successful person. His business is growing, they're profitable. The president of the bank even said that they would loan him any amount of money, but when it really came down to it, they didn't really have any idea what they were doing, and they needed to improve.
Well, to put that into perspective, when we did our tour with him last year, he said on a scale of 1 to 100, Toyota sort of being 100 in terms of their lean capabilities, he marked himself at 3%. Now they're not at 3%; they're probably more like 20-25% compared to us. But it was remarkable that he actually said that, which means that he, even in his operation, which if you go there, it's incredible what a lean operation it is. Even in his operation, he's seeing all this immense room for improvement that they still haven't reached.
Absolutely. And the second note, really simple, always ask for help if you need it. And again, coming back to Paul, he thought that he was doing so well, and then the manufacturing consultant came in and said, you have no idea what you're doing. So at that point, he kind of just put aside his pride and said, okay, well, what do I need to do to improve? At the end of every chapter, there is the one thing, and it's basically just a summary of the chapter. And this chapter was, your pride will blind you to what you most need to learn. Next week is You Mean I'm Really That Bad? So please, if you have 5 minutes to spare, I'm hoping everyone here has 5 minutes to spare within 7 days.
Yeah, it truly is an easy read. I mean, the book as a whole is probably at most 2 hours to read for an average reader.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 pages is nothing. Before we go on, did anyone want to talk about their lean card this week? Anybody? No? Vlad, what do you got?
Well, how come it's in red? Well, pretty much what I'm doing is I'm going to pick an order, bring it to my desk. As I'm packing it, as I'm producing the paperwork, I'm on a computer. I'm doing all sorts of typing, order fixing, going from screen to screen. Phone calls coming. I have to stop everything, put it out, and talk to someone. Now I just push the button. Very simple. Thanks to Jeff. He has hard work.
Awesome.
So just let me be clear on that. Do you have a headset now? Is that what
I
you're
do
doing?
wear a headset downstairs now.
Good idea. Very good idea.
Sheila?
I cannot remember to get that RFQ button on entering orders, or are you doing it only every second one? So I just put a yellow arrow, said RFQ dummy.
That's pretty
Good
much
idea.
exactly the...
Jasmine in Surrey put
Yeah.
little pink flowers on everybody's screen. So Jeff, maybe you should get some flowers for everybody. Dozen flowers.
Nice and fluorescent.
Request for quotation, it's a little tracking part of it.
Yeah, it just accumulates data about different orders and inquiries. Dave,
Was that last week? I can't remember.
Well, I
cheat sheets?
Combined in the projects admin department had about 5 different cheat sheets for different supplier numbers, SIN codes, product codes, and so got some feedback from everybody and we combined it into one.
Just a centralized area that you can see all of the different stuff, so you're not looking all over the place for it. That's clever. Mac, I think he's in our.
That's not here today.
He's in Fridays.
He's in the previous session. Basically, just torn branch signs. We redid the signs to make them up to date, look clean. So, 5S improvement. Does everyone know which S this is? No?
Sustainability.
Sustainability, exactly, yeah.
Rick, you've taken the course.
All right, so does anyone have anything else that they wanted to talk about real quick with regards to lean? Any notes, comments?
Maybe not going to be applying to this meeting, but we actually loaded Atlas accounts into 4 branches, I believe. So right now, if we need to send something from Abbotsford to, let's say, Vancouver, we're gonna have the rate, all the rates available. Just give me a quick buzz and sorry, I'll let you know what it is. Like, let's say if we're doing the Abbotsford shipment from Royal to, let's say, always the customer in Vancouver, we have the rates downstairs. If you guys need it, I think Jeff has all the rates available to you.
We should get it put on the matrix screen.
Possibly, yeah.
The reason why, they're just way cheaper than everyone else.
Yeah, that all sort of ties into the Burnaby Lean Freight Kaizen, and on your way out, take a look. I posted the latest results up there, and they're really quite phenomenal. We've had some great improvement on freight recovery, and we're getting it both on charging customers as well as just a reduction of freight costs. So take a look at the board when you go. Good work by everybody.
Even more so, I'm going to give Vlad some kudos here because what Vlad did in this case is exactly what we're talking about with the whole bottom-up lean culture. Freight's not really Vlad's responsibility, but he took it upon himself to go and start negotiating better rates with this carrier, and as a result, we've got better rates. Something that normally, say, Jeff would have to come down and say, hey, could somebody help me with this?
Yeah.
Vlad just took it upon himself. So great work, Vlad.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Alright, so that's pretty much all I got. I apologize it was so quick again, but I think Rob's got a couple of things that he wants.
Yeah.
That's what you were supposed to know.
So just to tie into, part of Jordan's presentation, the Yellow Belts have gotten together and they have, have a few more meetings to go, but we've got some sort of, some rail items that we're working on to adjust this lean presentation to fit and be a little bit more applicable to you guys so that, it's all encompassing and that we keep it changing, we keep it fresh, and allow, the engagement to continue. So, we're looking at all sorts of different things, including changing things drastically to changing things, minor things. So, but whatever it is, it's all in part and parcel to improving it and taking their input, which is coming through you guys as well, to make sure that this thing is something that you guys are all engaged in, continue to get engaged in. So, one last thing we're going to talk about is, I'm hoping it's the same one.
Oh, it's not outdated.
Well, this is.
I sent the wrong one. That's my fault.
Okay, but is this not 22 out of 22?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the wrong one. That was my fault.
Okay, sorry. So, realistically, anyways, at the end of the month, our SO margins, we had a large chargers, battery chargers, what do you call those things? My mind's not blank. The chargers for BC Hydro, car chargers order. It came through went through as an SO because it came into here for BC Hydro, which was at an extremely low margin. So that dropped our SO margins down quite significantly. Overall, sales in the 2610 branch were good. Margin was dragged down a little bit, but we didn't achieve our budget, but we did beat year-to-date numbers. Year-to-date for the first quarter, I think we're up about 25 to 30%, somewhere in that range in sales, largely driven by the DS. Our stock is basically flat from last year, and the one thing to note is our year-to-date comparable going forward is going to get tougher and tougher because our first quarter last year was fairly slow. This quarter was not too bad, but as we go further out in the year and we forecast further out, we're going to need some bookings from Brian's department to help get us over that hump because our last half of the year last year was fairly strong. So, anyways, good first quarter. So thanks for that, and that basically winds up the lean part. Anybody who's in the DSR, stick around. The rest of you guys can grab your yellow cards, and thanks.